right, go ahead and have a seat again. I'm going to invite my friend Joe up. And Joe is a newer friend of mine, but we got to meet just, I don't know, not that long ago, and got to hear a bit of your story. And right. God's been doing a lot of cool things in your life recently, and it was just fun to hear about you just had such a visible joy and passion, and you could see that like it wasn't, obviously the story that you were sharing was great, and it was really fun to hear, the details of what the Lord's been doing, but I almost didn't have to hear to know, because it was like on your face. And so why don't you share a little bit with us, just what has your journey with Jesus been like? And I know it's so, in the time that we have, it's impossible to get the full picture, but just some of the big moments that Jesus has brought you to the place that you're at right now.
Absolutely. I first just want to say, I've been thinking about my testimony recently, and I've just felt kind of convicted in a way, because I've really wanted to share, but I've had to really lay it down at the feet of the Lord, because I'm thinking, why do I want to share? Is it to glorify myself? And so I just really want to emphasize that, my testimony, and any testimony, it's all about the Lord working through me. And so it's just kind of cool to be where I am and know kind of where I've come from. And I'll try to go through it as quick as I can. I could talk for a long time about this, but I grew up in an amazing Christian home. I have the best family. I'm not biased at all. I absolutely love them, and I accepted Jesus into my heart when I was 7 years old, and that was as spiritually mature as I got for the next 21 years. It would not be an exaggeration to say that was, being lukewarm was as strong of a Christian as I was. I found my worth and my identity in the things that I could do and achieve and accomplish. That looked like, sports, academics, just everything. I made an idol out of myself, my own ego. And so that carried on into my young adulthood. In a 2-week span, I graduated college, I got married, and then I started my career, which is just a crazy 2 weeks. And I continued to make idols out of things and kept Jesus at the bottom of the totem pole. I idolized my marriage. I idolized the things that I could do and control. I was just a selfish person. I got so obsessed with what's the next best way that I can make, I can get rich quick. I was just obsessed with all these things of the world. And I fast forward 6 years of idolizing these things, and I'm signing divorce papers. I'm dealing with a knee that would require 4 surgeries, and I can't do any of the things that I love to do. And I've completely just obliterated my financial picture. And so everything that I had built my identity around had collapsed almost simultaneously. And so I felt so empty. My identity was gone. I just became anxious and depressed. I battled with suicidal ideation. And just, it was at that rock bottom for me that I got to a point where I said, Lord, I can't do this on my own. And this is not about me. And that was when I finally took a step in my personal relationship, and that's when my faith started to become my own and not just my family's faith. So that's really that first step for me.
That's amazing, man. So tell me a little bit about just what is he doing in your life right now, and what are some of the things that you see? Because hopefully all of us can look back and we feel different than we were. We hopefully didn't stagnate. But what are some things that he's doing presently in you right now, and what is he teaching you?
I think some of the really cool things he's been showing me, just the last few years have really felt like a season of waiting in a lot of ways. And in my mind, I've never really loved the word waiting. I just struggle with patience. And there are certainly, there are times to be still in the Lord, but I've also kind of reframed it in my mind a little bit into looking at it as a season of becoming, because the Lord is working, behind the scenes in ways we can't see or fathom. He's got a plan for each and every one of us, but if I'm not stepping into becoming the man that the Lord wants me to be, I won't be able to step into those things He's preparing me for if I'm not being active in my faith. And so, and just being able to see the full circle moments and how He's been able to do that, just like physically, I'm as healthy as I've ever been. I'm able to do all the things that I love to do again. He's blessed me with so many just incredible friendships, and just like my financial picture, like I got a big promotion at work and I've been able to clear my bad debt. It's just been so cool to see how He's just come full circle once I put Him as the top priority in my life, and just see all these other things brought back in at the right time when I could actually prioritize them and step into them in a healthy way.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think it's, the details might be different for each of us, but hearing your story is so relatable. And one of the words that you specifically said was collapse. And I feel like if I think back over my following of Jesus, there are these significant moments of collapse where he just highlights like, hey, this is a place of idolatry for you, and I'm just going to let it break apart. And so what would you say to people maybe who right now feel like it's fallen apart, like I'm in a moment of collapse? What encouragement would you give to them, and how could we maybe see Jesus and what He's doing and trust Him in the midst of that? What encouragement would you give for people in that collapse moment?
Yeah, man, it's hard being in that moment where you just, like, I've seen it in the movies where people fall to their knees, and I never really understood that. And I've literally had that moment. And it's okay to just not be okay, and it's okay to be open and reach out for support when you're in that moment of collapse, because He can work in really cool, tangible ways that you would never even expect. And it's maybe a little bit of a tangent if I can share just a really real way that He impacted me. It was actually a baptism Sunday here, October 31st, 2021, which actually marked 1 year exactly to when everything for me fell into collapse. And I was sitting right back over there along the aisle, and we're sitting there. I'm watching the baptisms. We're worshiping. It's just an incredible time. And I feel the Lord. I get into this dialogue, this wrestling match with the Lord, and He's like, it's your time to be baptized today. I'm like, absolutely not. I was not mentally prepared for this. I didn't bring any clothes. I just wasn't ready for that. And so I had made that decision in my mind, like, Lord, I'm not going to do this. And a few moments pass, and I feel a hand on my shoulder. And I turn around, and there's this young man. I think maybe was in college. I've never met him before. And he says to me, hey, the Lord's really putting it on my heart to tell you that it's your turn. And I'm like, all right, I get it. And so I was able to step into that, and I was baptized that day by my good friend James, who was just a huge influence and impact on my life as a counselor. And it's just so cool to see how stepping in, even after that collapse and that moment of just feeling like you don't have anything left, just how the Lord can lift you up and be your strength.
That's amazing, man. I love that too. And even as you say that, it's beautiful just to remember, and I think for all of us, that a lot of times, like when we feel like we're at our worst or our life is at our lowest, a lot of times that's when Jesus is like, I want you right
Yes,
there.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful thing. Any final words to people who are just, either they resonate with that place of you where you just kind of like half in, half out, kind of that lukewarm place? Anybody who's there, just maybe people who are just kind of considering Jesus. Maybe they don't have a relationship with Him yet. What would you say to somebody who's in either one of those spots?
I just say it's worth it. Taking that step forward, it's scary, but it's so worth it. nothing I could possibly build. And I've tried to build my life on my own, and it wasn't worth it. It all fell apart. It's only because of Jesus that I'm here today. So
that's awesome, man. Let's thank Joe. Thank you. So if there's just here's the bottom line is we're not supposed to follow Jesus by ourselves. I think sometimes that's how we view church, is like we get together like this just to sort of on an individual basis, we just like, I worship Jesus and then I hear the sermon and I'm going to take it in and I'm going to process it myself and then I'm going to apply it to. No, we're supposed to do this stuff together. And so whatever place you're in, if you're just in those moments of difficulty or struggle, we want to support you. It's our mandate from Jesus to bear one another's burdens. And in fact, it's by doing that we fulfill the law of Christ. So actually, when we hold back from engaging with those things, we're actually not allowing our brothers and sisters in Christ to fulfill the law of Christ. So let's lean in together. And also, if you have questions or you just want to have some conversation or whatever, we are so thrilled to do that. There are plenty of people in this room that could do that, but certainly those of us on staff. As this is going to be our kind of our last song of the service. And my invitation to you is just to say, all right, Lord, what is it? What is the thing, the place of obedience that you want me to step into as I head out? As I head into this next week that you've already prepared ahead of me, the good things that you have planned for me, what is the step of obedience that you have for me? So as we sing this next song, it's called Yet Not I, but Christ in Me. So it's Jesus, what do you want to do in me, even just this week? So let's stand and sing this.